Welcome to the Be Your Own Superhero Women's Leadership Conference, inspiring the superhero in you. Welcome to episode 4. In today's episode, we feature Dawna Kinnunen of Yes You Can Employment Consulting. Dawna will be speaking about leadership and the importance of attitude and gratitude.
Thank you. Thank you, my sister. So, hello, superhero sisters. It's so awesome to be here with you today. And I'm going to share a little bit of what's called the fish philosophy with you. Has anybody heard of fish philosophy? Yay! We've got lots. So there's 4 leadership principles in fish philosophy, and we're going to talk about those a little today. But before we start with that, just raise your hand if you are currently a leader in the room. So we have a couple here, some here. Excellent. So I would like to challenge you that every single woman in this room is a leader in her own life. You are a leader at You Inc. because we get to choose what we want in our life. We get to design our life. We get to lead our life, and it's all by choice. And we can choose to lead our life and attend conferences like this, which right on for taking the time out of your busy days, coming to this conference. It really shows that you want more for you. I call us learning junkies. And learning junkies really grow in life. Like everything that you invest in yourself, in your growth, in your learning, you will grow. And you will grow superhero leadership skills. So I'd like to ask you again, based on a new definition of leader, based on you are the leader in your life of You Inc., who here is a leader? Yeah! Yay! So we're going to talk about the fish philosophy that was born in a market in Seattle. And this market is called Pike Place Market. And at Pike Place Market, it was basically a fish market. Has anybody been to the Pike Place Market? Yes, excellent. Another, right on. It's on my bucket list. So Pike Place Market, I'm also in menopause, so please forgive. Sometimes I lose the ability to speak the English language. So, including my name. So at Pike Place Market, the business owner had a pretty successful business, but he really struggled getting good people into his business and keeping those good people, so retaining them. And so any of you who has to hire people or you own your own business and you hire individuals, can you imagine having to hire people where they're going to come to your business about 5 or 6 in the morning, they're going to gut fish from 5 till about 7, then they're going to clean fish, and then they're going to sell fresh fish and seafood every day. Oh my God, it's like the nightmare recruiter job. And so this fellow was struggling, really struggling in his business. He knew it had a dynamite product. People raved all the time about how awesome his business was, how awesome the food and the seafood, etc. was, but he struggled in keeping people. Stats show that it costs about $3,000 to replace an entry-level employee in a business. And initially that sounds kind of high when you think entry-level, $3,000. But if you consider the time that the owner or the HR manager or the person who's hiring, so they have to put out a job ad, they have to advertise, they have to screen all the resumes that come in for that job, they have to interview their candidates, and oftentimes we're seeing 2 interviews for jobs, sometimes a phone interview and then an in-person interview. Sometimes they'll do testing that actually costs the organization money. I know we've looked at different psychological testing, that kind of stuff. They're about $500 a pop. So that's just to hire the person. Then when you bring that person into your business or into your organization, you've got to train them. You've got to onboard them. You've got to do all of those mandatory trainings in health and safety and those really exciting ones that we all love. So when you consider all of those costs, plus the downtime, any new employee, regardless of how long they've done the job maybe somewhere else, coming into a new environment, they've got to learn. So there's downtime in their learning. Sometimes you need to have somebody with them, another staff member or yourself. So it's very, very expensive. And the biggest pain in the for anybody is to hire someone and then quickly lose them. So he really looked at, I got to do something. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I've proven that theory several times in my life. So I'm a shining example of it don't work. So he had to look at, what am I doing? Why am I losing these people? I know the job isn't that good. You're like, it kind of sucks to have to clean the fish and blah, blah, blah. So I got to really look at, how can I build a culture? How can I build an organization that people say, I want to work gutting and cleaning fish and selling them all day. I'm going to stay at this organization. I'm going to grow with this organization. And so he looked at, if I'm going to be a true leader, then leadership starts within. It starts with me. And if I want to lead this organization and bring this organization to a place where we can grow, and one of his goals was to be world famous, which they now are. I mean, imagine, in Sault Ste. Marie and 2 people been there. So if I'm going to bring this company to world famous, I know I've got to change within. And that's a message to every leader, to every person. Any change starts within. And so he implemented 4 principles into his organization. He looked at, how can I make it so people actually enjoy working here? How can we have some fun at work? He looked at, I've got to look at how I treat my team. Am I barking orders at them? Am I expecting them to do things that I'm not really fully training them in? Are my expectations too high? Are my expectations too low? So he really had to look at himself and what he did as a leader to build his culture and build this team that would stay. One of the things they implemented at Pike Place Market, and I'm sure the 2 ladies that have been to the market have seen it, is that you're going to see a little clip of the market in a minute, but on the outside you see all the different kinds of fish and seafood. And so the fellow on the outside is selling this fish and seafood. So you go up to the market, you say, I'd like that great big perch. He takes the perch and he throws it, woo, just about threw myself, throws it to the fellow in behind the counter, who then weighs it and wraps it and gets it ready to take. So it's really cool to watch. And as they're doing this throwing of the fish, which is now what they're famous for, they say, fish something. See, menopause. I've said this 6,000 times in my life. Anyway, they say something really cool when they throw the fish. Picture an outdoor market in a huge, huge, huge outside market. And so they got all the different vendors there. They've got all the different people selling stuff. And then you walk by this market and you hear these guys, hey, come on over, come and buy a fish. It's almost like a carnival kind of feel. And so they play with their customers. They enjoy and engage with their customers. They'll take a big fish and bring it up to a woman and give them a kiss. Or they're just, you see and you feel the energy in this organization. And it's just, when you look at Pike Place Market, there's people standing all around almost to watch the show. Was it like that when you were there? Did you see lots of people? Right on, right on. And so he built an organization based on 4 principles. And those principles are, number 1 is called play. The second principle is called make their day. The third, be there. And the fourth is choose your attitude. And so he looked at, I'm going to implement these 4 principles into my life. And then I'm going to implement those into my business, and I'm going to teach my staff. And so these are 4 leadership principles that you can use in your life to really boost up the superhero toolbox to grow your leadership skills. They're very simple, nothing, fantastically new, but how common is common sense today? We often forget it's those simple things. It's those basics, the basics of integrity, the basics of keeping our word, being honorable. Those are the things that truly make up the qualities of a leader. So let's talk about each of the principles. Make their day. So make their day is really what it says. Make somebody else's day. Go out of your way. It doesn't have to be anything huge, anything fancy, anything expensive. Make their day can be about smiling at someone, acknowledging someone. You are out at a restaurant or a grocery store or in a retail store. Smile at people. Thank and acknowledge when you get good service. It is amazing. You would not believe the response when you are in, for example, a grocery or retail. They don't get tips. They don't get a lot of feedback. So, the kid that takes your groceries out, thank you so much. Tip them. Tip well. If you are able to in your life, be generous. You will be blown away how much comes back to you. Make your day is about going that little extra mile, doing that extra little something to acknowledge someone, to make their day. A great example of make their day is we did a training in a government office, and they were a pretty fair-sized office. And in most government offices, because they're using taxpayer dollars, they don't really spend a lot of decorating money in the staff rooms. They might make the outside look nice, but behind, not so much. So at the end of the training session, there was a challenge. So when you go back to work next week, or go back to work tomorrow, just like I'd like to challenge all of you, when you leave here, find something to make somebody's day. And honestly, it can be very small. Have you ever gone through Timmy's and you go to pay for your coffee and they say, the person ahead, pay for it? Isn't it like, wow, thank you so much. So you've made the person's day, but you also make your day. When you give, it's like the law of attraction. What you put out there comes back in so many different ways. So one of these government employees said, I want to really do something. I want to make something. I want to really do and make their day. And I want to do it for the whole staff. Well, for the girls. So she chose, they had a pretty big women's washroom. And she chose to go out and buy, the nice little pump soaps from the Body Shop. She bought a wicker basket. She put some feminine products in there. She put a little sewing kit, some hairspray. She got a couple little plants, some pictures for the wall. Probably spent $50. And so she said, but going and buying it, I was so excited. Something so small, but I was excited. It really kind of pumped me up. And then she said, I waited till 5 o'clock, till everybody was gone. I decorated that bathroom, and she said, I felt like a kid, I can't wait till they come in the morning. And so the staff came in the morning, and they were, dear Mother of God, who's our new cleaning lady? But the excitement, and we as women, we all know a nice bathroom is very important. It's part of work culture. In fact, it should be mandatory. So her choice to take on that $50 and make everybody's day has grown in that organization. 10 years later, they're still doing it, only everybody chips in now and brings stuff or puts something at the wall. And we have one lady that's with that organization. I won't point her out. And so make their day is really about taking that extra moment, doing something out of the ordinary, doing something unexpected that's going to make somebody's day. Try this with your spouse. It'll really shock them. The next favorite principle is called be there. And be there is exactly what it says. Really being there when you are communicating with someone, whether you're talking in person, whether you're talking over the phone, be there. Be in the present moment. I loved how Sandra and some of the other ladies talked about how important it is to be in the present moment. How often are we having communication or having a conversation with someone? We're sort of listening, but in the back of our head, I got to do this, I got to do this. Oh my God, who's picking up the kid? Who's doing this? Who's doing this? We're not there. And no matter how hard we try and fake it, the other person feels it. It's an energy thing. They feel it. They know you're blowing them off. They know you're not there. How many have been on a phone, a customer service call, or calling and voicing a concern, and you hear the person on the other end click, 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 typing? Don't you just want to reach out and say, would you stop and listen to me? you feel it. People know. How many have had a spouse? Okay, this is my spouse. How many have had a spouse or a partner and you want to have a conversation about something serious, something important to you, and the football game's on, but he's not watching it. I can hear you. I'm not watching it. Again, you'd like to reach out and touch somebody. So really being there for each other, it connects us in a very different way. It makes the other person feel valued, feel respected, feel heard. And we all want that. We all need that. We're going to do a very quick game. Yay! So everybody stand up. Okay. We need pairs of twos. So if you're short at your table, go to a next table to pair up in twos. Pair up in twos. We've got some spare. Yeah, she found one. Right on. Okay, everybody got a partner? Okay, so one of you, Melissa needs a partner. Over there? In the back. So one of you is going to be A, one of you is going to be B. And we are going to do a be there exercise. And so A, you are going to tell your B partner something very important to you, something you're passionate about, something that means something to you. It could be a story about children or grandchildren or pets or spouses or whatever, but it's something that's meaningful to you. Now B, you are going to do everything in your power to not be there. So you might want to be rolling your eyes. You could be texting. You could be yawning. You could be falling asleep. You're going to exaggerate not being there. And we're going to do this exercise for 1 minute. So all your A's, you got your story ready? Okay, and I'm going to time it. So there's 1 minute. I'm going to time it. Okay, are we ready? Once I say go, A is going to tell your story, B is going to be not there. Go.
Well.
Okay. Okay, let's wrap up our story. Thank you, ladies. Have a seat for a minute, and I'll get you back up in a sec. So, ladies, how did that feel? How did that feel? Horrible. Yucky. Rude. Couldn't do it. So that is, of course, an exaggerated example of not being there for someone. But I challenge you, the next time you feel yourself slipping into, I'm not really in this moment and I'm not being there, think of how that felt. Give yourself that visual. Teenagers are really good at not being there. So keep that in mind for the next time you find yourself slipping or your mind wandering. Bring yourself back in the moment and remember that exercise. Now we're going to do it one more time, yes. But this time, A is going to tell your same story, and B, you are going to be fully there, fully present. You're going to be there. You're going to make eye contact. You're going to listen to understand. How many know that not everyone listens to understand? That sometimes people listen to respond, to interrupt. If we have any interrupters here, stop it. That was from all your friends, family, and anybody near you. Stop it. Interrupting means that I don't value your conversation because I'm going to cut you off and I'm going to add my 2 cents into it, which means I'm not really interested in everything you have to say. Do we mean to do that? No, that's not the intention. But that's the message that we're giving. Good, strong superhero leaders know that listening is one of the most important communication skills. So stand up, same partner. I promise this is the last one.
And now tell me why.
Okay? I'm going to say go. So don't forget, you're going to tell the same story. We're going to be there. Go. So did you feel the difference? Did you feel the connection? Bees, you actually know what A was talking about this time. So remember that in your next interactions. The next favorite principle, I'm going to skip these, is play. And play is not about messing around at work. It's not about screwing around on the job or not working. Play is all about having a playful mindset, adopting that, bringing that inner little girl out, and being playful at work, having fun, enjoying what you do. We spend most of our time, if you look at how much time we spend at work, we spend most of our time on the job. So adopting a mindset of play, these fellows are at a children's hospital. So can you imagine these guys getting ready for this day? Hey, let's do this. Let's get the costumes. Can you imagine the kids on the other end? Like how freaking cool. Neither one will ever forget it. So play is about adopting an attitude. And speaking of attitude, this is my other very favorite one. Choose your attitude, or choose your dude. And choose your attitude is about that. Every single day, when we wake up in the morning, we make a choice. We make a choice on how we're going to show up in our world. And sometimes when I say that, I hear, well, Dawna, you don't know what my life is like. You don't know what I got going on. You don't know how busy I am. You don't know how much sleep I get. Those, my dear sisters, are excuses because we have the choice. It's been talked about through the other presenters in the morning that we have the choice on how we respond or how we react. And so we can't control anything else in the world other than ourselves. And I have tried that too. I tried to control my husband for the first 25 years. Who went crazy? He's the same. So we can't control another person, but we sure get to choose our reaction or our response to them. And choosing our attitude is really is about choice. So when I get up, when I used to get up in the morning, I'd wake up, oh, God, I'm sore. Go to the washroom and, like, why does work have to start so freaking early? And then I would go make my coffee, and maybe I'd spill it, or the cat, he likes to knock over our little coffee thing. It'd be coffee. So by the time I got to work, I was, and then I'd meet with maybe another friend or whatever, and we'd have coffee, and so how you doing? Oh my God. Oh, what are we doing? We made the choice to bring yuck into our lives. We all have the same amount of time in life, well, except for when the end comes, but we all have the same number of days, the same number of hours in every day. How we choose to spend them is our choice. So now, one of the things I worked on, and I started this about age 43, is wake up in the morning and I choose some things that I'm grateful for. And so the very first week that I did this, I thought, okay, this is kind of cool. It does feel better, instead of whining and crying in the morning. So I get up in the morning, I'm grateful for my husband, grateful for my kids, my mother, and so on. Well, by about day 3, I'm grateful for my fridge. I'm grateful I got a fridge. I'm grateful for, I got a stove. I'm grateful for my stove. But what happens is if you continue on the path of gratitude, it starts to change how you think. It actually creates a different brain path. So the bitching and whining one kind of goes away, and the gratitude one grows. And it starts to open your eyes on, wow, there's so much to be grateful for. And it was around that time that my kids were teenagers, and, well, probably pre-teen. And so I remember, I would say to them, we'd be driving and say, look at the sky, guys. Like, are we blessed? Look at how the fall colors in the mountain show. Can you imagine that these little wildflowers just grow naturally? So you start to see more things and actually be grateful for them. And one of the greatest gifts to myself about choosing that was my kids now are older. I'll be driving with my son, Mom, look at the skyline. My daughter, did you see all those little wildflowers? I think, yes, I passed it down. I didn't pass down the witchy binding Oh, there goes the menopause. You know what I mean. Whining, crybaby woman. I pass down gratitude. Oh, I'm getting the yellow signal. Hurry up. So, choosing your attitude, it's a choice. You can make it every day. It is so important that you don't let your emotions run you. You use your emotions as a guide and you choose how you're going to respond. So on that note, thank you.